This season was a bit of a whirlwind for the Lakers, and start to finish, they probably had at least 3 different chapters where the team and its rotation looked completely different in each one. The season started off with the group struggling with a few injuries and also feeling out the hierarchy of their rotations under new coach JJ Redick. The middle of the season saw the emergence of Austin Reeves along with a solid winning streak being put together. Then the Luka Doncic trade changed the entire landscape of the NBA as we know it at the trade deadline, and after closing the season red hot, shooting up to 3rd place in the Western Conference standings, they then got taken down in the first round of the playoffs by the Minnesota Timberwolves, which brings us to today, where they now have a lot of difficult questions that they need to somehow answer. In today's video, we're going to be going over what exactly their outlook is looking like this offseason and next season, what they desperately need to change, their realistic options, and why accomplishing all of this may actually be much more difficult than anyone realizes. Before we start though, it turns out a good amount of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but it also very much appreciated. Now with that being said, let's begin. The Lakers were by no means a perfectly constructed roster before the Luka Doncic trade went down, but at the very least, they had a traditionally built lineup checking all of the basic boxes needed for a contender. They had an all-defense caliber big man in Anthony Davis, who was finally staying healthy, dominating both sides of the ball, scoring well too. They had LeBron James settling into more of a playmaking role who could still explode for big scoring nights every now and then. They had an emerging star guard in Austin Reeves, whose confidence was at an all-time high, taking a big leap as a shot creator and creative playmaker on the ball. They had very versatile, switchable wings that could defend multiple positions, and they were trending in the right direction as time went on. I want to be very clear when I say that there is zero doubt about the fact that they happily will make that Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic trade 10 times out of 10 because of how perfect it sets the franchise up in the long run and gives them an answer to the question of what they would do after LeBron James' time in the NBA inevitably comes to an end. But in the short term, it definitely created a glaring weakness that they were just never able to overcome. By trading away Anthony Davis, they went the remainder of the season without a single truly reliable big man on the roster, with Jackson Hayes being the only one remaining, and by the time the playoffs rolled around, the issues that have plagued Hayes' career early on as a player, that he's just not a very smart player with the ball in his hands, and he makes some questionable decisions at times that had him benched completely with the season on the line late in that series. So without any real say in the matter, the team was forced into embracing the small ball way of life, which of course was made popular by the Golden State Warriors dynasty in the mid to late 2010s, but hasn't really been nearly as successful as of late. If executed properly, small ball lineups can create a lot of favorable mismatches and can help teams execute on offense in a way that teams running traditional big men can't quite defend, but in order to be able to do that, you need a plethora of versatile wing talent capable of holding their own against the bigger, stronger guys, along with some generally bigger guards who can help make up for the team's lack of size elsewhere, but the Lakers' rotation was not really built to overcome these obstacles. Jared Vanderbilt and Dorian Finney-Smith are pretty good defenders in their own right, but neither are very good rebounders at all, and in general, they aren't the strongest forwards capable of measuring up to the size and strength of most other front courts. LeBron James has always been touted for his strengths, but at 40 years old, it's ridiculous to expect him to battle centers full-time in the middle. Throw in Luka Doncic's defensive woes as a generally slow-footed perimeter defender that gets blown by pretty regularly, and we get exactly what happened in the first round against the Minnesota Timberwolves. This was the first time, literally ever, that Julius Randle looked like a competent all-star caliber player in a playoff setting after playing some truly terrible basketball in the 3 playoff series that he took part in previously in his career as a member of the Knicks. And if you're going to be the team that allows Julius Randle to dominate you on the big stage, you're going to have to take a long, hard look at yourself in the mirror and acknowledge that change needs to be made. Randle's strength was too much for the Lakers defenders inside, and then his confidence from scoring at the rim loosened him up on the outside, and he started hitting jumpers more often on top of it. Rudy Gobert also dominated the Lakers on the glass all series long and put them away in that elimination game. The Lakers could not stop the Wolves from putting pressure on the rim, with Anthony Edwards getting whatever he wanted most of the series as well, and ultimately, what I'm not so subtly hinting at is the fact that the Lakers need to target big men this offseason, so they don't get absolutely abused on the boards and at the rim again. This summer's free agent class has a lot of potential options for them too. Miles Turner hits free agency after 10 years serving as the anchor of the Indiana Pacers, leading the NBA in blocks twice, and would be a perfect fit for what they are looking for. Brook Lopez hits the market after establishing himself as one of the best defensive big men with Milwaukee, and has played for the Lakers in the past, so a reunion could be opened up. Then guys like Clint Capella, Al Horford, and even Steven Adams are free agents who had a great showing in the playoffs this year and are all viable options as quick fixes to their lack of interior defenders, so that's a good fit. But unfortunately, the situation is not that simple. See, the Lakers are currently all in on the roster that they have already for another year, with pretty much everybody except for Jackson Hayes still under contract in 2026, and their payroll is already over the luxury tax limit, so they don't really have any money to throw around in free agency at all. They have their non-tax mid-level exception available to offer to a free agent signing, but that's only worth $5.7 million, and most of the players that I just named that the Lakers would realistically want to target will be attracting free agency offers worth more than that. Of course, the power of having LeBron James and Luka Doncic recruiting always helps, and that could convince one of them to take a pay cut to join the Lakers, but I also don't think just one single big man signing puts all of these problems to rest either. One injury would put the Lakers right back into the position that they were in this year, so they need multiple signings for the sake of depth in their rotation, but that's not actually possible. This then leads them to needing to enter the trade market, and that's a can of worms that could go a million different directions. The Lakers tried to trade for Mark Williams of the Hornets at the trade deadline, but a failed physical prevented that trade from going through. But if it had gone through, the Lakers were sending rookie Dalton Knecht and Cam Reddish to the Charlotte Hornets, plus a first-round pick swap and an unprotected first-round pick, so the Lakers have proven that they're willing to pay up to address this issue. Unfortunately for Dalton Knecht, that probably means he will once again be a piece used as trade bait this summer, and depending on who the Lakers target, guys like Rui Hachimura, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Jared Vanderbilt may all be made available on the trade market too, and if the Lakers swing even bigger, Austin Reeves could be dangled as well. Then they would need to figure out if the deals would even be worth it, because the truth is the Lakers don't have that much depth, and if they give it all away trying to solve one problem, all it's going to do is create a whole different problem in its place. That's why the title of the video is what it is. There are no easy answers here despite their needs being so obvious. They have hurdles to overcome in every route to addressing it, and finding a way to improve without sacrificing too much is a balancing act that could absolutely backfire on them. In the long run, they're probably fine, with Luka Doncic ready to be their pillar for many years to come, but strictly for next season, it's looking pretty difficult to switch much up without taking drastic measures. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think the Lakers should do this summer. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.